I don't know. I just feel like it's more unique. I'm trying to like hold both of these. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, Amanda's Aesthetics. My name's Amanda. I am super excited, as I always am, because today we are going to be doing a little review on the well-loved, well-cherished Colored Raine Safari palette. Now, this palette is so loved by all of those makeup gurus out there for a reason. This is a very sturdy palette in pretty much every way. Colored Raine is a very superb indie brand in my opinion. They have great formula, great shadows. The color stories are gorgeous. Their quality is very nice. The packaging is always really pretty. I especially really like this packaging here. It's super beautiful. It has the metallic leaves from the Safari. The back looks the same with the ingredients. The side has that gold trim. It has that magnetic clasp, which I really like.
Created after our owner Lorraine's obsession with wildlife and the safari, we introduced our first ever 9-pan Safari Raine eyeshadow palette. This palette can be used to create everyday looks with a side of bling. Formulated for ease of use, the earth tones and exotic foil shades will not disappoint. Cruelty-free and made in the USA. From left to right is Toucan, Clay, Tigress, Congo Basin, Green Valley, Jungle, Lioness, Amazon Basin, and Matriarch.
The color story of this palette, guys. Look at this. It is so pretty. I can't get over it. So when I first saw this palette a few months ago, I immediately was like, oh my god, I have to get that. And then when I looked it up online on the Colored Raine website, they were sold out, which I'm sure many of you guys have experienced if you haven't already gotten this. But fortunately, Colored Raine actually restocked their final restock a couple of weeks ago, so I was able to pick this up. I actually got two because I'm such a freak and I knew I would love this so much, and I heard nothing but good things about it. And since it's not going to be coming back, I just figured I'd grab two. So we're going to be doing 3 looks today with this palette, and it's really nice because this palette is kind of already set up for you. It has the rows that you can kind of follow to do each look. It is very versatile though, so you could use other, you could really mix and match them and make something super funky. I don't know, this palette is just super easy to use. It's super pigmented, the colors blend super easy, there's no fading that I noticed. Everything is really pretty. I only had an issue with one shade, which we will talk about. Yeah, so we're gonna be doing 3 looks today. I figured just to emphasize how easy this palette is, I'm just gonna go row by row for each look, and you guys will see it's super easy. So the one thing I will say about this palette is that I like to use transition shades sometimes, and this palette has no transition shades, but that's okay because this palette doesn't really need it. Like, just the way that these shadows work, the way that they apply on your lid, it's just insane, and the blendability of them is insane. And so we're gonna not be using a transition shade. We're just gonna stick with the shadows in this palette. The other thing I will say about this palette is that aside from maybe Lioness, there isn't really an inner corner highlight shade, but I tend to use highlighter a lot of the time anyway, so that doesn't really bother me. But if that's a thing for you, just keep that in mind. Again, we're going row by row, so we're gonna use all 9 shades so you guys can really get an idea of how all the shadows work. And then at the end, I will give you guys my final thoughts.
Starting off with Clay as my transition shade, I'm just applying that all over my lid and my crease. Next, I'm taking the shade Matriarch, and I know it's not in that top row, but I just wanted to use it to deepen my outer corners. I'm then just taking the same brush that I used for the shadow clay without any more shadow, and I'm just blending out any harsh edges from Matriarch. Next, I'm taking this gorgeous shade Tigress, and I'm putting that over Matriarch in my outer corner as well as over to the center of my lid. And then again, taking that same brush I used with clay and just blending everything out. Going in with Toucan, I'm putting that on the inner part of my lid and blending that into the Tigress. I'm going over the center of the lid with the same brush I used for Tigress just to make sure that it's blended in well with Toucan. For the lower lash, I'm starting off with Matriarch in the outer corner and just attaching that to the outer corner on my lid and bringing that down to the center of my lash line. On the rest of my lower lash, I'm taking the shade Toucan and I'm just going to blend that into the Matriarch. With my very handy dandy Wet n Wild Mega Glow highlighting palette, I'm taking the shade Golden Flower Crown and I'm going to be putting that into the inner corner. I'm also going to put that onto my brow bone. For eyeliner, I'm taking the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Eye Pencil in the shade Torch, and this is a really pretty color. I seem to always reach for this. For mascara, I'm using the CoverGirl Lash Blast Volume Mascara in the shade Brown.
Alrighty guys, so this is the first look complete. As you can see, it was super easy. I didn't even use a transition shade and everything blended out really well. I didn't have to tap into the pan more than maybe once or twice per color because it is so pigmented. The shimmer shades, both of these are just so creamy. So creamy, they feel wet when you put them on the eye. Toucan is slightly crumbly, but other than that, I mean, it's not bad. It applies really well. Yeah, I just went for something pretty simple, but yeah. And then on the lips, I just did the Safari Raine Meishi Raine lipstick. And then on top of that, I just used the MAC Dazzle Glass in Get Rich Quick. So I'm gonna go ahead and wipe my eyes off and then we will go to look 2.
I'm starting off with Congo Basin as my transition shade, and again just putting that all over my lid and crease. For my outer corner, I'm taking the shade Jungle, and I'm also going to blend that into the crease and towards the center of my lid. Going back in with the brush I used for Congo Basin to blend everything out. Next, I'm going in with the shade Green Valley and putting that on the inner part of my lid over to the center, and then I'm just going to blend that into the jungle. With no extra shadow, I'm using that same brush and just blending it into jungle to make sure there's no harsh edges. For my lower lash, I'm using the shade Jungle and putting that on the outer corner and extending it to the outer corner on my lid. Then I'm taking Green Valley and putting that on the rest of my lower lash and blending that into the jungle. For my inner corner, I'm using the Wet n Wild Mega Glow highlighting palette again, and I'm taking the shade White Lily, and again, I have to apply a few layers of this because it's not super opaque, but once I get it to the layer that I want, I really like how this looks. Same as the first look, I'm going to be applying this to my brow bone as well. For eyeliner, I'm taking the LA Girl Shockwave Neon Eyeliner in the shade Gotcha. And unfortunately, after trying to apply it, it just wasn't giving me the results that I wanted, so I ended up going over it with the Ulta Beauty Gel Eyeliner in the shade Peacock. I decided to use liquid liner for this look, so I'm using my NYX Vivid Brights in the shade Vivid Envy and doing some eyeliner on top of my lid. For mascara, I'm using the Urban Decay Perversion Mascara in the shade Black. This is look 2 complete.
Alrighty guys, so this is look 3. I definitely love it. I feel like a swamp queen with this green, this like murky green. I'm really glad I added that eyeliner too. I think it just kind of pulls everything together. Again, another super easy look. These looks are really just taking me like 15 minutes tops, which is great. Not too much to say about this other than I love it. All 3 shadows that I use, I absolutely love. The lipstick that I'm wearing is the Maybelline Cream lipstick in Nearly There. So this is one of those looks that I'm actually kind of sad that I have to take it off for the 3rd look. I am really digging it. I also really like the inner corners. I feel like the purple undertone to that highlighter, I don't know, there's something about it that I really like with the green. So this is look 3. We got one more look to go with this bottom row, and then final thoughts. So I'm gonna wash my eyes off and then we will do look 3.
For look 3, I'm starting off with Matriarch, and I'm first applying that to my outer corner to try and deepen that out, and then I'm going to try and blend that out and almost use this as a transition shade. Next, I'm taking Amazon Basin and putting that on the center of my lid and closer to the outer part of my lid over part of the matriarch. And then just going in with that same brush that I used for matriarch with no more shadow and blending everything out. I did get a little fallout from matriarch. For the inner part of my lid, I'm taking the shade Lioness and I'm going to blend that into the Amazon Basin. For my lower lash line, I'm taking the shade Matriarch and applying that to the outer corner of my lower lash, and then I'm going to connect that to the matriarch that's in the outer corner on my lid. And then I'm taking Lioness again and putting that on the rest of my lower lash and blending that into matriarch. More liquid liner because who can't get enough? I'm using the Maybelline Master Precise ink in the shade Metallico. And then for mascara, I'm using my all-time favorite Maybelline Mega Plush Volume Express Mascara in the shade Black. For eyeliner, I'm adding just a pop of color with the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Eye Pencil in the shade Love Drug. Taking my Wet n Wild Mega Glow highlighting palette again, I'm using the shade Blossom Glow and putting that on the inner corner. And here is look 3 complete.
Alrighty guys, look 3 is complete. I'm just blown away all over again. I'm blown away all over again. I can't believe how easy these shadows are to work with. I mean, you guys could see how easy they were to blend with. That color, what was it called? Matriarch, the dark brown. I was able to use that as a transition shade for this look, which is just like crazy, like given how dark it is. I mean, the fact that I was able to blend that out into the sheer transition that I wanted is unbelievable. So let's talk a little bit about the palette. The mattes are very creamy. There's a little bit of kick up in the pan. I didn't have bad fallout. I had a little bit of fallout with Matriarch and Jungle. Here, I'll hold this up for you. With Matriarch and Jungle, I had a little bit of fallout with, but other than that, not bad at all. The shimmers,
oh my god, the shimmers.
They are everything. They are literally everything. They are so fucking creamy, so wet. This shade, I felt like it felt the wettest on my lids. And they're all gorgeous. This one I did say was slightly crumbly. This one is the shade I'd probably say I had the most issues with. This shade is just so soft. Like, you could probably see in here, you can see the indents from my brush. I mean, every time you go into it, it's just, you get an indent, which is fine, but it's just something to be aware of, that you have to be careful, because if you go in with a heavy hand, you could just completely mess up the shadow. This one I also felt was flaky. So like, I would pick up some on my brush and then like a flake of it would just fall off my brush. There were some people that said that they had flaking come off of their eye. I haven't experienced that. I blended it on enough to kind of like break up those chunks and flakes and all that crud. Other than that, these two shimmers were gorgeous, especially this one. I love this one so much. These two are probably my favorite shimmer. It's hard to say, honestly. This one, I don't know if you guys can tell, but it almost, it's not duochrome, but it almost looks duochrome. It almost has like this like periwinkle undertone to it. I don't know if the camera's picking that up. It's so beautiful, so beautiful. I'm very happy with Colored Raine's formula. I think they have a really good formula. They really nailed it, and all of their palettes are consistent, which I really like too. There are some brands out there where they're very hit or miss, very inconsistent. I know a lot of people say that Natasha Denona is like that. I did use the Matriarch in the first look with these three shades just because I felt like I wanted a little bit more depth in that outer corner, but I mean, again, you don't even have to. This one is, and that's the thing about the shimmers, is they're so pigmented. Like, you would think that maybe like some of these would come off as almost toppers, but they
do not at all.
Especially like this shade, like I was very surprised at how pigmented it was. And these shadows I used with no setting spray. I use a brush for all of them, but your finger works really well with these shadows as well, especially the shimmers. They are just incredible with the finger. Let me just show you. So that one is Tigress, this one is Toucan. Oh my god. Green Valley. And Amazon Basin. I mean, like, so pigmented. I like, that's one swipe for all of them. I'm so glad that I was able to pick this up. I know that there were a lot of requests for them to restock, so that's probably why they did. This palette cost $29 on their website, and for $29, I feel like it is so worth it. I feel like it is such a steal. I would have spent $50 or $60 on this. I'm not even joking. I mean, it's expensive, but it's worth it. Like, that's how much I feel like this palette's worth it. And I have nothing but good things to say aside from Lioness, which I just felt was just a little too soft and flaky. But again, the color payoff is worth it. I'm sure you can see all of these colors just complement each other. It's just so pretty. It's so pretty. I'm so glad I got two of them. I really am. I just love it so much. Oh, I completely forgot to tell you, on my lips, I am wearing the Becca lipstick in Sugar. This lipstick is amazing. Amazing. I love Becca lipstick. And you know what? Maybe it's just because I'm such a sucker for Maybelline lipstick, but I feel like Maybelline lipstick is almost a dupe for the Becca. It just feels very similar, the formula, the creaminess, just everything. I'm kind of at a loss for words. I'm just like, thank you, Colored Raine. Thank you so much for being such a consistent indie brand. Like, I genuinely appreciate you so much. I also did a tutorial on their Colored Raine Queen of Hearts palette. I feel like the formula is damn near identical to the Safari. I just like the Safari better just because the color story speaks to me more. I don't know. I just feel like it's more unique. Trying to like hold both of these. I just feel like the Colored Raine one, the Colored Raine story is just more unique. It's just so beautiful. Like, really, it's just so fucking pretty. I can't even get over it. I really can't. Yeah, so if you guys have not tried Colored Raine yet, I highly, highly recommend you go check them out. I think this Safari palette actually sold out in a day, so I think they're out of stock. I highly, 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 highly recommend you go check out Colored Raine. I feel like it is very important to support those smaller companies, those indie brands, and especially when brands just kill it. Like, it just makes me so happy. It makes me so, so happy. Like all 3 looks that I made, I feel like they're all very different in their own way. And again, I tried to stay simple. I tried not to go too crazy because I wanted to show you guys how easy it is to use this palette. The first look I used 4 shades, the second look I used 3, and the third, this look I used 3. And I know that from other palettes, it would take a lot more colors to get a look like this. So I'm super satisfied. I'm so glad I purchased this. I'm so glad the Colored Raine here. I'm gonna keep repeating myself at this point. Yeah, so let me know which look you guys like better, the first, second, or the third. If you like this video, you know what to do, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.